time, your aunt, Michelle, was keeping a snake for somebody.
Oh yeah, I remember this. I don't remember it.
And it had a container that it was in, I don't know what, but somehow that snake got out of there. And one morning I went to fix breakfast, and I pushed the shades back, and there was that snake. That was a horrible experience.
It had been in the house for like 2 weeks before we ever found it.
I don't know how long it had been in the house.
We thought somebody came and stole it or something.
It was a big snake.
It was a big python.
Huge. Real big snake.
It was about 5 feet long, and it was a mean python. It wasn't a nice python. It would strike at you and try to bite you and stuff.
We had a squirrel, Patsy, that we had out in the backyard, and she was as fat as a pig.
We had a pet squirrel.
Then we let that squirrel go one day.
And it went down the vent and got in the toilet.
No, it wasn't the same squirrel. Generally, you know, like at night when you're going to bed or something, they'd hide behind something and jump out and scare you. And tell you there were ghosts upstairs and whatnot.
And one time, Mother and Daddy went somewhere, and I don't even know we knew Larry was in the house, and Charlotte and I started screaming.
No, it was just you in the house. It's like she was like a drama queen. There was a roach, and she was screaming and hollering, and it sounded like there was a mass murder in the house. So I hid in the closet.
You hid in the closet.
Yeah, because I thought that she'd been murdered. But it was just a roach. She's like, "You got me cornered! You got me cornered!" And then I didn't hear anything else except somebody rummaging through the drawers.
And then one time Uncle Jay got mad at me about something, and I ran down the hall, and Mother and Daddy's room had this big, huge mirror on the back of it. And I ran into their room and I slammed the door so he wouldn't like kill me. And the glass fell off and shattered all over him. And he was screaming and hollering and yelling, and I thought I'd killed him for sure. And I wasn't going to come out of the room because I could just see him with glass shards all in him.
Hollow doors, and they all had little holes in them where people could just...
And you hit one in your closet door.
Larry would get a baseball bat and he'd try to get me.
So they had all these doors with these holes, you know.
Whatever they did, don't you ever do it.
But the good thing was they were pocket doors, so they'd slide in. So like when people would come over, they would never see that there were holes in the doors.
I went to the door of that house at 1747 Mall Drive and told the lady that we were the original owners. And she let me come in and see the whole house. And she asked me a lot of questions about how old the house was and who we bought it from, and a lot of questions. And she gave me her email address. And the one thing I did was go in the room where Larry lived and slide the door to see if there was a big hole in it. And somebody had replaced it. And one time we went on a trip, and we came home, and the little girl next door was supposed to take care of our dog, Rusty. And we came home, and the first thing your dad did was run to the backyard to see Rusty, our dog. And the little girl had let the dog out somehow, and Rusty got run over.
You know, he had like a heart attack chasing her.
No, he got run over by a car.
Well, I heard he had a heart attack. That's what they told me. He had a heart attack while he was chasing a car. He used to chase cars.
He used to love the postman and drop the mail. He'd go take the mail and
tear it up.
But anyway, that was like coming home to a funeral, because we'd had that dog 13 years.
Yeah, he had heartworms.
Yeah, he was a neat dog.
It was like there was these little hills around.
It was an Indian.
And we always thought it was like an Indian burial ground.
It's an Indian burial ground we had in our backyard.
I don't know if that was true or not, but there was a lot of little hills around.
Yeah,
Knob Hill Park.
The park.
Yeah, Knob Hill Park was supposedly an Indian burial ground or something.
Did you ever dig something up?
No, never did.
We played in the ditches,
All the
swam
other
in the
things you did,
ditches.
you never dug around to see if there was actually
We did dig, but we never found anything.
And Jay used to live upstairs, and there was a pine tree outside his window. And he, at night, a lot of times, would open the window and climb down the pine tree and meet his friend somewhere. And I don't know what he did, but anyway, that was his escape.
Well,
I went to work for American General, and I had a real good job. They used me as a floater, where I'd go take places of people that were on vacation. And I one time did the checks for everybody, and I was amazed that I could do that. But anyway, he used to work for American General, and he'd come up to see, I can't remember her name, but she was the personnel director. And he'd come up to see her, and he got my phone number and called me. And we went out. That was it.
Did you ever travel anywhere?
When he retired, we bought a motorhome. And then we also bought a place on Lake Fork. And we had a boat, and we went fishing a lot. And one time I caught a lot of fish, like about 20 crappie. And we tied them to a tree. We were going to fish some more. And he didn't catch much of anything. And we took off. It was starting to rain or something. And we took off, and he didn't get my fish in the boat. So all my fish were gone. He hated that. He was so sorry. One night we were in New York City, in Harlem, and we got lost. And it was Friday night, and we had a motorhome pulling a truck, and we got lost. And Aunt Michelle got us out of there.
What kind of car did your dad used to drive?
He would never drive anything but a Lincoln Continental. And he had a farm, and Daddy would go with him when they moved, and he'd stop every time he saw a can, and he'd stop and pick up the cans so he could get a dime for them or whatever. And when my brother was a little kid, he loved Buster Brown shoes, and those were the kind of shoes that were popular in that day and time. That was when he was about 10 or 11, I guess.
Where's your brother?
He lives in Tyler, my brother.
What's his name?
Buster.
Oh.
So he loved Buster Brown shoes.
His name is Clarence Lawrence Barlow
Barlow
II.
Jr. He's
But
very
Call him Buster.
But Uncle Bubby is what we called him.
Bubby.
Anne Marie's father.
I have a sister that lives in Beeville, which is pretty close to Corpus Christi. And they're ranch people. They have horses and they have cows, and they've had to sell all their cows at, about 3 or 4 years ago because of the drought. No rain, nothing to feed them. And so they're still having the same trouble now.
So did the Depression affect you at all? Or was it
Absolutely.
Louisiana?
During the Depression, everything was scarce. Gasoline, hosiery. People used to wear a lot of hosiery.
What's hosiery?
What's hosiery?
Things you put on
Well,
your
we used
head
to-
when you rob banks.
We used to wear,
Like pantyhose?
no, we used to wear garter belts. And we'd take these hose and pull them up and snap them. And we'd wear those. It was kind of uncomfortable.
They didn't have pantyhose back then.
They didn't have
They hadn't
pantyhose back
invented
then.
pantyhose yet.
Then why did you wear them if they were uncomfortable?
Because everybody else did, and I guess you conform to what everybody else is doing sometimes.
Could people see when you wear them? Did you wear dresses back then? All the time?
Yeah, we wore dresses. We didn't
This
wear
was
pants.
the dresses.
Well, then why did you wear them? Nobody could see them. They were uncomfortable.
Hmm.
You wore dresses that came up down to your knees or something. So you can see them below your knees.